it is time for another exclusive. All right. But before I get into that, I just want to say I'm very disappointed with the videos that I've uploaded today prior to this one. Maybe I'll feel the same about this. Every time I do a video, I always think, yeah, that was all right, or no, that was pants. And I just feel like I've butchered every video today. I don't think they're very good. I don't know if it's my fault or whether I'm just sick of talking about Getafe. I'm not sure. So I do apologise if I've let you down today. I don't know if they were maybe a bit of a hard listen, you know, harder than usual. Anyway, so we're going to take a look at this exclusive. It was in the Daily Mail yesterday. Various reports have, surfaced as a result of this, where they're all quoting this, if you like. It's all to do with FSG and multi-club and Getafe, if you want to pronounce it in English. It was an exclusive published in the Mail. I don't think it was much of an exclusive, to be honest with you. I'm going to go over it, just the bullet points. And then I've asked Dave to take a look at it. Dave is my AI assistant that's been trained to analyse football articles, the journalists that publish them, and the platforms that push them on us. He will give his verdict as well. All right, what I can say is that the Spanish media, I read the Spanish football dailies every day and have them for a long time, and they are not talking about FSG buying a Spanish football club at the moment. They're just not covering it, basically. They have covered it, but they haven't covered anything for a while. Now, if anyone says to you today, yes, there are reports in Spain, there was a report in Sport, which is a pro-Barcelona publication, but they were just citing the Daily Mail from yesterday, so it's not fresh reports in Spain. So I'm just saying, over here, they're not really giving it any, particular attention at the moment, which is odd, but maybe they don't know what's going on. So basically in this article, it was exclusive. Full details as Liverpool take major step towards Getafe takeover with help from Real Madrid. That sounds a bit of a sexy headline, doesn't it? So the Daily Mail headline, Liverpool take a major step towards Getafe, Real Madrid are helping them. Article says FSG have completed due diligence on Getafe. I'm sure I heard that some time ago. I do remember there was a report here in Spain. It must have been 4 or 5 months ago now, and it basically listed all the clubs that FSG have looked at in Spain. And if I'm not mistaken, there's somewhere between 8, 9, 10, 11 clubs that they've looked at. Definitely interested in tapping into Spain, which would be good for us, right? Because obviously I'll have access to all of that over here for you. It would have been nice if they bought a club local to me. Obviously, they were heavily linked with Valencia, but it's a big club, big investment and stuff like that. So FSG's ambition, build a multi-club model like City, Chelsea, United. Previously assessed Toulouse and Malaga, but pulled away. Edwards, Ward and Marquez tasked with scouting targets. Looked at 25 clubs. I've definitely seen that amount of clubs mentioned before. Connection with Getafe came after an informal conversation between Madrid CEO Jose Angel Sanchez and Getafe President Angel Torres. Now, Jose Angel Sanchez was linked with the L4 consortium many years ago when they were looking at buying Liverpool Football Club. And if L4 had been successful, he would most likely have been Liverpool's chief executive. Some of the old school cop talkers will remember his name. He's the main man at Real Madrid, to be honest with you. Getafe became aware of Liverpool interest after a friendly versus Hull City in August. FSG delegation visited Spain shortly after to check the books and facilities. Discussions were positive. No price indication yet, though. If FSG proceed, deal is likely to be a formality. Torres has owned Getafe since 2002. Article ends with fluff. Contrast FSG's Liverpool takeover in 2010 versus today's financial muscle. So, Dave, what's Dave's take on it? Headline versus the content. The headline promises full details, a major step with help from Real Madrid. Reality, the help from Real Madrid is literally just Jose Angel Sanchez mentioning to Torres in passing that Liverpool might be interested. That's not help, that's gossip over a café con leche. The major step is due diligence, which was already being whispered about weeks ago. Not a deal, not an agreement, just accountants poring over spreadsheets. So I think the major step bit is a bit misleading, to be honest with you, although some people would argue due diligence is a major step. But I think that was already known. I'm sure I've heard that, and Dave is saying that it was being whispered about weeks ago. Wherever he's got that from, I do not know. Dave says, I'd say 20% maybe counts as exclusive in the article. They claim they finished due diligence and the Madrid CEO name drop. The rest, 80%, is filler and context, multi-club waffle, FSG's ambition, history lesson on their Liverpool takeover, and a love letter about how successful they've been. It is understood that discussions were positive. Translation, someone guessed they didn't end in a punch-up. No indication yet what it would cost. Perfect hedge means nothing is actually concrete. Should FSG wish to proceed, a deal is likely to be a formality. That's a beauty. If it doesn't happen, oh well, they just didn't wish to proceed. Liverpool Confidential can reveal, a fancy way of saying we heard a whisper and decided to run it as gospel. Reputation of the Mail and author, the Mail, clickbait central, masters of the sensational, headline to wafer thin content ratio. They'll happily run Liverpool sign Mbappe if someone in Paris sneezes. Dominic King, long-time sports hack, sometimes gets genuine scoops, but more often padding pieces out with what we already know. Think of him as the bloke who knows how to stretch a tweet into 900 words of waffle. And I'll be honest with you, Dominic King, I will never I've never paid attention to him in the first place. But I'll never forget when he ran this massive article titled, Elon Musk buying Liverpool would be like seeing your dream home bulldoze. He is everything this city cannot stand. And even if he made every ticket free, I would never sit on the cop again. He was very happy at the suggestion that Elon Musk could potentially buy Liverpool Football Club. The fact that he even believed that could be a possibility is embarrassing. You know, any bit of research at the time would tell you about the relationship between Elon Musk and his father who made the claim. If it had been Elon Musk's mother saying it, I would have been like, oh, that's interesting. I went over it in depth at the time. It was ridiculous. I can't believe anyone on this planet would think that back then Elon Musk was looking at buying Liverpool Football Club. And I can't believe he wrote that article, to be honest with you. And it's nothing to do with whether you like Elon Musk or not. I'm indifferent. Don't know. I really don't know much about him, to be honest with you. He's a bit of a crackpot, I think, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm not bothered about that, but I just remember him writing the article and I thought, what journalist would write that? Who in the right mind thought Elon Musk was going to buy Liverpool Football Club? Fuck's sake. Anyway, final verdict from Dave. This isn't a genuine exclusive. It's a reheated stew of we know FSG are looking for a feeder club. They've looked at loads before. It could be Getafe. The exclusive element is tiny. The Madrid CEO supposedly connecting the dots and claimed due diligence is completed. Everything else is PR-flavoured filler. It's a classic Daily Mail exclusive, a big bold headline, very little substance. More holes and a pair of worn-out socks. They've left themselves every get-out possible. If it doesn't happen, they'll just say FSG just decided against it. It's not total nonsense because due diligence has most likely happened, but it's a long way from Liverpool about to own Getafe. The headline massively oversells it. If you thought this was done and dusted, it's not. It's accountants looking at paperwork, that's it. A bit harsh by Dave. I think that we know that Liverpool have an interest in Getafe. And they've looked at many clubs. But I really, honestly, guys, thought that it was already well documented that they'd done the due diligence. But anyway, there's some more that I want to come up with for you. Let me find, I might need to refresh. Or maybe it's on here. Just one moment, please. Told you my videos are shit today. Where the fuck? I've lost what I prepared for you. Wonder if it's that one there. 1 second, please. I do apologise. Yes, here we go. Okay, I asked Dave, to explain the attraction of Getafe to you guys. Shall I read from here? And then I'm not just turning my head to the side. So I'm going to just give you a little bit of info about Getafe, okay? Let's talk a bit about Getafe. They're a small but tough club based just outside Madrid in the commuter town of Getafe. Their stadium is called the Coliseum Alfonso Perez, and it holds around 17,000 fans. So we're talking about a much more modest setup compared to giants like Real Madrid or Barcelona. The club was originally founded back in 1946, though the modern version was re-established in the 1980s, and they've spent most of the 21st century punching well above their weight in La Liga. They've even reached a Copa del Rey final and had a couple of runs in Europe, including the UEFA Cup in the mid-2000s, where they famously pushed Bayern Munich all the way. Getafe are known in Spain as a side that plays with great discipline and a bit of edge. They're not afraid of the physical battles. Their fans are fiercely loyal, even though it's one of the smallest clubs in the league in terms of support and resources. Right now, they're sat comfortably in the top half of the table. I think they're about 7th. And if FSG really are serious about buying them, you can see the appeal. They're close to Madrid, they're already established in La Liga, and with some investment they could grow into a stronger force, while still being a cost-effective project compared to targeting one of Spain's bigger clubs. If you're wondering why FSG would target a club like Getafe, it actually makes a lot of sense. First of all, location. Getafe sits right on the edge of Madrid, in the middle of Spain's biggest football market. You're 15 to 20 minutes down the road from Real Madrid, which means you're right in the heart of Spanish football, without having to pay Real Madrid or Atletico Madrid prices. Second, cost and size. Getafe is small both in stadium size and financial scale. That's a huge attraction for an investment group like FSG. They can buy into La Liga for a fraction of what it would cost to go after Valencia, Sevilla or Athletic Club and still have the chance to grow the club significantly. Low risk, high ceiling. Getafe already operate in La Liga with a reputation for being tough to beat, staying up consistently and even qualifying for Europe in recent years. With extra investment, better facilities, stronger scouting, more marketability, FSG could turn them from a mid-table side into a regular European team. And finally, multi-club model. That's the real strategy here. City Group have Girona, Red Bull have Leipzig and Salzburg. Chelsea are building ties with Strasbourg. These satellite clubs are used to develop players, move talent around and open up new commercial markets. For Liverpool and FSG, Getafe would be a foothold in Spain, a way to bring players through, test them in La Liga and strengthen the whole group. So the attraction isn't that Getafe are a massive club, it's the opposite. They're affordable, manageable and strategically placed in Madrid with room to grow. And I can't remember, do you remember that a couple of weeks ago it sounded a little bit like there was little whispers that maybe Michael Edwards was becoming frustrated that they hadn't progressed with a second club, because that's one of the reasons that he agreed to come back to the FSG setup, if you like, was to oversee the purchase of a second club. He really wants to get his teeth into that. So it's interesting that something's come out now, actually. It does make me wonder if it ties into that. And obviously they're talking about the contract situations of people like Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. So maybe FSG have a decision to make. They've been sniffing around a lot of clubs for a long, long time. And like I said, there has been a sizable write-up about FSG's interest in Spanish clubs before. And I remember going through them all, the different ones, the pros, the cons of each. A lot of interest, previously with Valencia, but that looked difficult. They seemed more interested in them. Was it last season when they were struggling at the foot of the table? If they'd have got relegated, for example, might have been, easy to get the club. But this would be a more viable financially, maybe, based on the feedback we're looking at there. But yeah, I do look for this stuff every day in the Spanish media. Nothing's been in the papers about FSG of late. That doesn't mean anything. They are mentioned today, but only because of the Daily Mail article, which isn't really too exclusive, I don't think, but it's keeping the topic alive. And I suspect something will happen at some point. All right, guys, so I just wanted to chime in on it. That's it. Like I say, I'm very sorry. I don't think my videos are very good today, including this one. All right, so I know you'll say, yeah, should have, silly cunt, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't think my videos are very good today. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I need a shave or something. All right, I'll leave you to it. If you did find the video informative, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. Remember, I'm picking someone every day now for a free Cop Talk VIP membership. I announce them in my morning briefings each morning right at the beginning, so you don't have to watch them. And there's a super thanks under the video if you want to buy me a beer or a coffee. The weekend is here. I'd like to go for a beer tomorrow, to be honest with you. And anyone that does that, I always give them a shout out in my morning briefing. All right, guys, take it easy. Have a great weekend. Live stream on here tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. All right, guys, take it easy.